What's good, YouTube? It's Rigo here, and I got a deck profile for an updated DracoPal list from the one I took to the Baltimore Regional. This is a lot closer to how I wanted to play it, and it's more combo heavy and doesn't play Ariadne. So this is what I wanted to take, and I eventually caved and played Ariadne because I felt like I needed more defense, because this version of the deck particularly struggles with Max C. And I was like rushed for time, so I made a decision that I think ultimately hurt me in the long run. So this build I think is a lot better, and I haven't played it in any events, but we're about to get Shining Victory, so it's going to change again, so I figured I might as well update it one more time. And I don't know, I think it's overall better, and I think that my problem of I couldn't like reliably stop on under a Max C could have been solved if I had just made my own Max C, because then I could have like good Turtle Lizard Drew into Max Cs, and I kind of am mad at myself for not realizing that when I put Ariadne in, where I was like, well, I'll play the counter trap so I can draw them, was like, but I could also draw Max C. So yeah, there's no Max Cs in this one. There's in some other deck, or they're like in a side deck or something, but yeah, so yeah, I would try and fit Max Cs in this if I were to play at an event again. So yeah, let's get into it. So for monsters, it's for Draco Slayers, it's 3 Master, 1 Vector, 1 Luster. So I only play 1 Vector now, and the reason for that is because with Face Off Limited, he doesn't really come up a lot anymore. And so you really only want to play him as an enabler for Face Off on the chance that you do actually draw it. And like drawing him before Face Off sucks, but usually games end so quickly that it won't matter. And like drawing them together is obviously bad, but at least Vector Pendulum is still usable in that situation. So like you really don't need more than one. So. And then for pals, it's 3 Pendulum Sorcerer, 3 Lizard Draw, and 1 Turtle, 1 Skulker Bat Joker, 1 Monkey Board, 1 Silver Claw. So Silver Claw I wasn't originally playing in this version, and then I ended up putting him back in because you can, if you play Brilliant Fusion and you like Pendulum Sorcerer, you can grab Skulker Bat, and then you can play him, and you can search Silverclaw and normal summon him, and it's an option to do. So, and it comes up a few times, so it's not bad. And he's just another name for Pendulum Sorcerer. So, yeah, that's all the performance powers. And then 2 Flash Knight. I still like this at least until Shining Victories, because it gives you more options off of Brilliant Fusion and Painful Decision. But after Shining Victories, I'm probably not gonna play him. So. He doesn't come up a lot, but it doesn't hurt to have him, really. And we've got space right now while we have so much room from like not having Shining Victories. 3 Abductor. Triggering her is so ridiculously easy between like Master Pendulum, Painful Decision, Brilliant Fusion, like Archfiend, Eccentric. It's just really easy to put 3 counters on her. So yeah. And then 3 Eccentrics. This card's too good. Like, I don't really think there's a reason like to not play 3, because it just answers so many issues with the deck. And the MVP of this version of the deck, and I really regret not playing at this regional, was 3 Rescue Hamster, because like this card's so good. And like for people who don't know, the way Rescue Hamster works is that if you you can activate its effect to summon 2 Pendulum monsters from your extra deck that you have multiple copies of. So like, I worded that really poorly. So Rescue Hamster's effect is that if you have a monster, level 5 or lower Pendulum monster face up in your extra deck, you contribute it, and then for one of the Pendulum monsters in your extra deck that's level 5 or lower, you special summon 2 more copies of it from your deck. And the way it's ruled, or like the way it works by mechanics, is that you have to have a Pendulum monster that meets the requirements in your extra deck to activate Hamster. But once Hamster resolves, he is also in your extra deck, and you can pick him and summon 2 more Rescue Hamsters. So at worst, it's a free rank 4 that also puts a level 4 in your extra deck. So it loads your extra deck and gives you a rank 4 play like Diamond Direwolf or Majester or whatever. And like there are so many, like there are 5 monsters that I run 3 of, and like so Eccentric and Master will both like put themselves in the extra deck, so they both trigger Hamster. And Master is very easy to get to your hand with Brilliant Fusion, and you can also get him in your hand with Painful Decision. but if you do that, you can't target him, but he can also, but in that case, he can target Abductor or Pendulum Sorcerer, and you get the same result. So it's like, so Master's like usually the biggest enabler of this. Lizard Raw can also trigger himself by putting, by popping him while he's in a scale with a Performapal. He doesn't come up as much as the others, but it is an option. So all these make Hamster really live, and he just like really heightens the ceiling of the deck. And I really can't believe I didn't play it because I really should have. And going off of Hamster is also Rescue Rabbit. So, no. So let me go back to Hamster because I forgot some points. So another thing you can do with Hamster, like even if you draw, like ideally you only draw one and then you summon the other two, but you can also banish it and then summon like 2 copies of like Master Pendulum and Fusion summon with that also. And his low scale effect, or his scale effect, is also useful because so he's scale 5, which is good because this deck is kind of like it goes through high scales really easily. So Hamster being at scale 5 really helps with Pendulum plays, and you can banish him to put 2 Master Pendulums back in your hand. So that's really good. And Rescue Rabbit kind of fulfills a similar role, and then it gets you 2 Masters, or in worst case scenario, 2 Flash Knights. So it just helps you flood the board with more Pendulums. And if you can end up with 5 or 6 Pendulums off of a Pendulum summon, the 6 being like you get this out and then you like search out and like get more Pendulums, then you can usually make a strong board of like Titanic, Rafflesia, Majester. So Rabbit just helps in that regard. And then the last monster is 1 Lazuli because Brilliant Fusion. So obviously the plays you play Brilliant Fusion, you mill Master and Lazuli puts Master back in your hand. And then 3 Painful Decision for the same reason as Brilliant Fusion. This is stronger, but it's also more likely to be dead the longer the game goes. But it's stronger because it also puts a Master Pendulum in your graveyard. And then 2 Unexpected Die. I honestly don't really like this card. And it's only good if you open it because you have to have no monsters, but it does get you a Master Pendulum that lets you make like a Dinosaur before you go off. So it's not the worst, but I feel like it doesn't really come up enough. And this is definitely something I would cut for max use if I were to play in an event. So, and it's definitely not going to be played once we get Shining Victories. 1 face off because this card is still busted. 1 Raigeki because I've just reached the conclusion that this card's stupid as all hell, and I had the space to play it, so, like, I might as well, because Raigeki's fucking dumb. Like, I've lost games because of Raigeki, I've won games because of Raigeki. Raigeki's just stupid and shouldn't be legal, and should be abuse the shit out of it, especially because this deck has such an easy time making Dweller, so, like, if I'm facing down, like, 500 Cosmos, I can just make Dweller Raigeki and win, so, Raigeki's dumb. And then 1 Upstart. This might be, like, this or Raigeki would be the 3rd card I cut for Max C, or I might just main 2 because Monarchs are a deck, so. And then 1 Treacherous for Rafflesia. And that's the main deck. For extra deck, it's 1 Titanic, then Utopia the Lightning, 1 Dweller. I was playing 2 in my build in the regional. I moved one of them, like I cut it I guess, but I would move it to the side with the 2nd copy just because I had to put Rafflesia back in. 1 Castell, 1 Diamond Direwolf, 2 Majester, 1 Giant Hand, 1 Rafflesia, 1 Ignister, and 3 Dinosaur. I think this build especially needs the triple Dinosaur because if you open like the Titanic, Rafflesia, Majester board, you're probably gonna burn through 2 Dinosaurs. So ideally, you don't want to use Ignister for that. So this lets you make the board with 2 Dinosaurs and still have 1 left over. So triple Dinosaur is actually, I think, really important in this kind of build. So yeah, and then 1 Seraphonite for the Brilliant Fusion. And that's the entire deck. It's going to change more when we get Shining Victories because Odd Eyes Light Phoenix and Odd Eyes Unicorn let us use Sky Iris, which means we have to finish Sky Iris Terraforming. It gives us a scale 8 so we can make Magic Spectre Unicorn, and it's a lot more like power to the deck. So yeah, I'm also working on like a Brilliant Monarch build because I've recently become very interested in that deck. I'm still working out kinks with it. I was playing testing it today, and it's not as consistent as I want it to be, and I think it could be more consistent, so I'm going to work on it more. And I was trying a lot of things and found stuff I did like, found stuff I didn't, so whenever I finish that up, I'll probably post a video of it, but I wanted to get this out before Shining Victories, so yeah. That's all for now. Thanks for watching, YouTube. See you next time. Deuces.